We are the De La Salle High School class of 1964, celebrating our remarkable 60-year journey. This is the story of a band of brothers, not about its achievements, but of friendship, fun, nostalgia, and rock and roll. Our high school valedictorian was Joey Sihuko, who later on became a West Point graduate.
Class is very special in the sense that we have all gone our own routes and specialized in very different fields and excelled in them. We have politicians, we have corporate leaders, we have entertainers, and I'm one of them.
The 1960s were the golden age of rock and roll. We had the Beatles, the Dave Clark Five, Cliff Richard and the Shadows, and the Ventures. All those bands, or combos as we called them during the 60s, are long gone decades ago. Except one. When the De La Salle High School class of 1964 started its freshman year in 1960, another group of classmates in England was starting a band called the Blues Boys, later called the Rolling Stones. In the early 60s, the Stones started playing before audiences, and High School 64's The Kingsmen did the same. 4 decades later, in 2004, the Stones was still rock and rolling, but High School 64 was not far behind. During its 40th year Ruby celebration, the rock and roll band of the class, the Kingsmen, was still rocking. The 60s were all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and the Stones got busted. High School 64, well,
it was a time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, except that there was no sex and drugs, just rock and roll.
If Mick Jagger can do his legendary moves, so can our very own Dave DeChupa do his Mr. Suave walk. Today, over 6 decades later in 2024, High School 64 is planning its 60th diamond anniversary, while the Rolling Stones is planning its 60th year of concert tours. Since both are still rocking after 60 years, High School 64 invited the Rolling Stones to give a shout out to the LaSallian community, and they obliged and sent this video. We just witnessed 2 timeless celebrations of resilience, solidarity, and the enduring camaraderie of the 60-year journey, because we are forever young, forever connected, and forever friends. The story of High School 1964 begins inside the walls of De La Salle College, where our friendships were forged and our dreams took flight. And we start with expressions of our deepest gratitude to the educators who guided us with wisdom and dedication and shaped the persons we became. Their impact on our lives extended far beyond the classroom. As our tribute to all our great teachers, we will cite one in our kindergarten beginning and another in our senior high ending. Most of us started kindergarten in La Salle with excellent teachers, one of which was Miss Josefina Alburo, affiliate FSC. Decades later, she graced our 40th Ruby Year celebration.
To be remembered some 40 or more years after you had left our classrooms, for me it's not really 40 because you count 40 from your graduation in high school. But to many of you, you started with me 51 years ago.
Fast forward to school year 1963 to 64. After years of learning from teachers who molded our youth, we had Brother Bonaventure Richard in our last year in high school.
Of course, there was also Brother Richard Bonaventure who was in charge of the job class. I remember he was asking us, all of us have a tag in front of us, an invisible tag, and behind it is your price. And he says, what is the price on your tag? He was talking about integrity and being a true Lasallian all throughout your life. Of course, at that time, life was kind of hazy for us. We were in school, we were enjoying, we were high school. What the heck will we think about life? No? But as you go on, you remember these things. What's the price on your tag? And as a Lasallian, dapat walang presyo.
On another occasion after prayers, Brother Richard told us to put our hands in front of our face. Then he asked the question, what good have they done? At first, most of us felt guilty as we focused on the naughty things our hands have done. Then he told us we must do good things, big or small. One example he gave was, as a Christian gentleman, you must dance with the wallflowers during parties, not just the popular girls. Some of us did. It was exhausting, but it felt good. Brother Richard also made sure we had a rosary with us daily during prayers, or you will have to pray with the heavy giant rosary.
We still carry the rosary. This was trained day in, day out since grade school.
Ang sabi ng mga brothers noon, the sign of a true Lasalite is the rosary.
Up to today, I always carry the rosary with me. Yes. I have this rosary which I have had for the past 30 years, 35 years really. And of course, I have a reserve of rosary also on the other side, which not many people do. They carry the rosary.
So what was LaSalle High School like in the 1960s? Yes, LaSalle was a military school then. There were regular drills, complete with regimental, battalion, company, and platoon commanders, including platoon sergeants. Our high school uniform was done by one tailor, Ah Wong. Long sleeves on Monday, short sleeves on Tuesday to Friday. Before we entered our classrooms, there was a daily check on how shiny our buckle and shoes were, and the solution was lots of saliva on the buckle and shoes. Corresponding demerits were given, resulting in the jug class for some, and no long sideburns allowed. The good news was the gray uniform seemed to attract girls from other schools, or so we thought. Let us not forget our junior police deputized by the city of Manila to supervise traffic along Taft Avenue and help pedestrians during the early morning and dismissal time. But they also stop traffic even if there were no pedestrians crossing the street whenever they see certain cars approaching. There were no car tints then, so a lot of eye contact between the junior police and car passenger. Just like the Thrilla in Manila boxing bout, there was also the Thrilla in Capitan T Kong a few streets away. And when the fighters can't wait for the long walk, the Thrilla at back of the gym was quite convenient. One of the craziest things that happened was when we reached fourth year. For the first time, the high school seniors were given the senior lounge, the former biology laboratory where we can relax, study, and smoke.
You know, after recess, everybody's in a hurry to go to that smoking room to get to finish a stick of cigarette.
Ashtrays were even provided. Then we had the benediction of the Blessed Sacrament, where we sang hymns in Latin such as Tantum Ergo. But let us not forget JMJ with a cross on top of M. JMJ is short for Jesus, Mary, Joseph. We were trained since grade school to write this on top of any paper we were writing on. Some of us even wrote it on love notes and codigos out of force of habit. High School 64 is all about the enduring spirit of camaraderie, Christian values, and love for our alma mater.
There was a lot of camaraderie in the school. We knew each other even if we came from different sections.
In some cases, some of them are probably closer than their own brothers and sisters because we act like brothers and sisters.
Everybody, your buddies and classmates around you felt the same way. So, I mean, in other words, you're never isolated or alone in anything. It was always together.
Well, it's like an extended family, no? We all belong to the same group.
Christian values that were inculcated to us lived up to this time for me.
LaSalle has been a school that has built my character, my Catholic faith, very strong.
Many things about LaSalle which maybe a lot of people do not know, and I hope that the spirit which LaSalle has influenced me, today they would have the same spirit. I really hope so, because I may be Ambassador Lulier, but I am really a LaSalle.
We will end our high school 64 story as we revisit the origins of the alma mater hymn. This story will be told by our batchmate Butch Valdez, who passed away recently and whose voice we cloned via AI technology, so he can be part of this celebration.
During the second semester of our junior year in 1963, typing and mechanical drawing were taught, where the high school principal, Brother Malachi, handled the drawing course. During the start of one drawing class, Brother Malachi took out a small harmonica and started teaching us the alma mater hymn. At the end of the class, Brother Malachi told us that we were the first group ever to sing this hymn. One classmate asked, "Brother, why us?" The reply, "Because if you guys were able to sing this hymn, anybody else can sing it." Our 6 classmates who were in the high school band narrated how they were also taught the hymn. Weeks after, during the pep rally, Brother Malachi taught the entire high school student body the alma mater hymn. And LaSalle became the first school in the country to sing an alma mater hymn at the end of every sporting event. During the 1966-67 NCAA basketball wars, LaSalle had a record of 0 wins, 10 losses. But at the end of each game, the shield of green and white banner was held high and bright, and the alma mater hymn was loudly sang, with pride and love of school. Truly, never shall we fail. From 1966, fast forward to 2023.
That's the last shot. De La Salle University on top again of the UAAP.
The alma mater hymn was first sang in public during the graduation ceremonies of high school class 1964. It is now sang by all LaSallians during sports, alumni, and school events in all 16 LaSalle schools in the Philippines. Fellow LaSallians, this year we are also celebrating the 60th Diamond Jubilee of our alma mater hymn. Please stand and join us in singing with great pride and love for our alma mater.
Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to De La Salle. We'll hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your glory bright, and never shall we fail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, hail, hail. Hail, hail, alma mater, hail to De La Salle. We'll hold your banner high and bright, a shield of green and white. We'll fight to keep your